Good morning to all. Children, do you remember the poems that we studied in our previous class? Yes, we learned about Delhi Sultans. The Delhi Sultanate consists of 5 dynasties. They are the Slave Dynasty, Ghalji Dynasty, Tughlaq Dynasty, Sayyid Dynasty and Lodi Dynasty. Today children, we are going to learn about from garrison town to empire, the expansion of the Delhi Sultanate. How the rulers of Delhi Sultanate expanded their empire. So, before proceeding to the topic, first I would like to introduce some important terms connected with this topic. They are garrison town, hinterland, internal frontier, external frontier, Mongols. Children, in the 13th century, beginning of the 13th century, the Delhi Sultans only controlled some garrison towns. What's a garrison town? It is an area that was highly fortified and controlled by soldiers. Once more, a garrison town is an area. It is fortified and settled by soldiers. Fortified means fort. High walls were constructed around the city. Why the forts were constructed? To defend the city from enemies. To protect the city from enemies, the kings always constructed tall walls. These walls were called forts. So, a fortified settlement where garrisons were appointed. Garrison means soldiers. Clear? The Delhi Sultans did not have control over hinterlands. What's a hinterland? A hinterland means a land adjacent to a city or port, and it supplies the emperors with food and services. Once more, hinterland means a land that is very close to a city or a port, and it is providing goods and services. So, the initial period, the sultans did not have control over hinterlands. They only controlled some garrison towns. And these garrison towns were under the control of soldiers. And this controlling the garrison towns from Delhi was a difficult problem, because some garrison towns were far from Delhi, like Sindh and Bengal. And not only that, see, the rulers had faced threat from Mongols. Who were Mongols? Mongols were a tribal community from Central Asia, that is from China. Okay, so this tribal community always raised threat to the rulers. So, the consolidation of hinterlands were very important. During the reign of Ghiyasuddin Balban, Alauddin Khalji and Muhammad Tughlaq, these 3 rulers started to consolidate the hinterlands, and they started to expand the Sultanate empire. how they expanded the kingdom? They adopted two methods. One is internal frontier method and external frontier method. So what is internal frontier method? Yes, through this policy, the armies decided to consolidate the hinterlands of the garrison town. They decided to bring down all the hinterlands together. And they started to clear the forest regions near the Ganga Yamuna Dove and started to expel all the hunter-gatherers from the forest region and given the forest land to the peasants or farmers for cultivation. Thus agriculture was encouraged and trade was flourished. Then the second method was external frontier method. So what is external frontier method? Yes, through this policy, the Sultanate rulers started military campaigns to capture the neighboring kingdoms. Once more, through this policy, they started the military campaigns. Soldiers, troops were sent to neighboring countries and they started to conquer, especially the South Indian region. And the soldiers captured elephants, horses, slaves and precious metals from these places. During Alauddin Khalji's reign, he expanded the South Indian region. Look at this map, children. See, here you can see Delhi. From Delhi, they started military campaigns and moved to South India and conquered the South Indian regions. So, see Alauddin Khalji's campaigns into South India. Here you can see the dates and the places he conquered. Okay. Next, let's learn a closer look administration and consolidation under the Khaljis and Tughlaqs. So a vast empire like Delhi Sultanate, which needed the support of reliable, trusted governors or administrators. The Sultan alone cannot control this vast empire. So he needed the support of many officials. Then how did he choose people for higher post? Earlier we learned that kings always selected people from reliable families or people who born in rich families or king's close relatives were selected and appointed in high post. But during the Sultanate period, they always favored slaves. And they purchased special slaves called Bandagan and appointed these slaves in high post. That is, the slaves were appointed as the Sultan's governors and administrators. The Khaljis and Tughlaqs appointed people of humble birth to high political positions, and these people were called clients. C-L-I-E-N-T, clients. Clients means people of humble birth. Children, Muhammad Tughlaq, he appointed a barber, a wine distiller, a cook, 2 gardeners into high political positions. This act of the Delhi Sultans shocked many aristocrats, and the authors of Tawarikh criticized the sultans for appointing these low and base-born people to higher post. Children, can you tell me why these slaves were appointed into high post, high officers? Yes, see, a slave or a client is always loyal and trusted to their masters. And there was a saying, the wise people says that an experienced, worthy slave is better than a son. Children, during the time of Sultanate rulers, their vast territory or the vast empire was divided into smaller parts called Iqta. And these Iqtas were under the control of military commanders, or military commanders were appointed to look after these Iqtas. And the holder of Iqtas were called Iqtadar or Muktis. Confusing? Listen children, here we have to understand that our country, India, is divided into many states, and the states are under the control of state government, and we have a governor and chief minister and other ministers to look after the affairs of these states. The same way, during the Sultanate period, the vast empire was divided into land, small size of lands called Iqta. And the Iqtas were under the control of military commanders, and they were called, these persons were called Muktis. The in charge person was called Muktis or Iqtadar. And these Muktis have certain duties. What are the duties of the Muktis under the Sultanate period? Yes, they have to maintain law and order in their Iqtas. And they have the right to collect land revenue from this Iqta. And they have to lead military campaigns. Whenever the king needs military campaigns, the Iqtadar have to provide soldiers, must provide soldiers and lead the military campaign for the Sultan. Understood? The Muktis were not completely free. The emperor always ensured whether the Muktis were doing or performing their duties correctly. For that, see, accountants were appointed to check the amount of revenue collected by the Muktis. How the emperor checked the Muktis? Yes, an accountant was appointed. For what purpose? To check whether the Muktis are collecting the prescribed amount of tax from the peasants or the common people. If he collected more amount of tax from the people, he was severely punished. And see, another step taken by the emperor was his office was not inheritable. That is, see, he cannot pass his office to his children. That is, this post was not hereditary. Then his office he was appointed only for a short period of time. These steps were taken by the Sultan to ensure the performance of the Muktis. During the Sultanate period, there existed 3 types of taxes. There were taxes on cultivation, tax on cattle, and tax on houses. So the tax on cultivation was called garage. What is garage? Tax on cultivation. The 50% of the peasants' produce was given as tax to the Sultan. Whatever he has produced in the field, 50% of the produce was given to the Sultan as tax. It was called Gharaj. Clear? Then children, the Samantas or the chieftains, earlier they had the right to collect the tax from the common people. But Alauddin Khalji cancelled this right of the chieftains and he forced the chieftains also to pay the taxes. So the chieftains were unhappy with these reforms of the Delhi Sultans and they rebelled against the Sultans. Thus, in the last years of the Delhi Sultan, see, these chieftains and Samantas declared their independence. Children, these were some of the administrative measures during the times of Delhi Sultanate. I hope you understood. We will meet again in the next class. Thank you very much.